This is the Midwestern Whisper. This is whisper number 13. I hope everyone is doing well that's listening to this video. I have noticed that, not with just me, but with other whispers as well, that the people that seek out these videos the most are people that have insomnia. I don't really have that so bad anymore, but there have been different times in my life that I have had insomnia, and it's very frustrating. They suggest that you only go to sleep when you're tired, but if you have things you have to do in the morning, you can't very well stay up until 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. Get up at 7 or earlier and expect to be fresh enough to be able to go to work for 8 hours, or take care of a family, or whatever it is that you do the next day. Nobody can be fresh on 2 or 3 hours sleep, but the theory goes that if you do that for a day or two, you'll be so exhausted that you will fall into a regular sleeping pattern. I don't know if that's true or not. There are conditions, physical and mental, that can affect people and give them insomnia. But I think that certain whispers do help, and I do believe that it is based on certain whispers work for certain people. Some people prefer a male voice. Some people prefer a female voice. Some people prefer accents. Some people don't. It's really all very personal. And in 2011, we have a lot of choices when it comes to whispers. There are a lot of people out there. And it stems back to at least 2 years ago, 2009. So, and many of those pioneers of whispers are still at it and doing a great job. And I look to these original people for inspiration how to get started. Obviously, there's still a following of people that like to hear the whispers. Me personally, I looked for the whispers just for relaxation to start with, but if you follow certain people, their stories are interesting. I mean, granted, not everybody does stories. Not everybody talks about their life, but the ones that do, that keeps me coming back. Especially if it's in areas that aren't close to me. Well, even if they were in areas close to me, I'd still be interested in another person's point of view. And I may have came for relaxation, but I get so much more out of the whispers now. And the more people that I talk to on YouTube in the whispering community, and the more people that send me messages and replies and the subscriptions, and that they tie into other whispers and other people, and pretty soon it's a big community. And I got a lot more than I bargained for, in a good way, of course. And if you're following me at all, you probably see that I'm punching out these videos pretty quickly. Sometimes a couple a day, 2 a day. It's just the fact that I enjoy it so much. I like talking. It relaxes me too. I want to help anybody that's listening, but I also want to feel that calmness that comes from whispering. It really surprises me how much it desensitizes me, how much it lowers my stress levels. And I thought maybe I could can only get that from listening to other people, but it really works two ways, and I'm astounded. You might have noticed you probably have noticed the plant on the picture. That is my pumpkin plant. Yeah, it's in a pot. That's a picture I took earlier tonight. It's a little over 2 months old now. Well, from the time I planted it anyway. It came from a seed from last Halloween, from a pumpkin. And I saved 5 seeds out of the pumpkin, cleaned them up, dried them out, and then put them in the refrigerator for 2 months or so. And you really need to do that. Some people say to freeze them, but I think that most seeds would probably die if they were frozen. Well, I mean, it might be true. I don't know. Certain seeds probably could handle it because in nature they're frozen in the wintertime. So, but I didn't freeze them. I just kept them in the refrigerator at about 40 degrees. And that puts them into an hibernation, dormant state. Then you warm them up in a few months. Give them a few days to be in the warmer temperatures. And then you plant them. And I really didn't expect them to grow, so I planted all 5 seeds into the pumpkin plant pot. And this pot is 15 inches squared. It's 15 inches on each side. So it's not a huge pot. It's probably about 2 feet deep. But all 5 of the seeds did germinate, and they did grow, and unfortunately as time went along, because I really didn't believe that the seeds would grow at all, being that they came from a commercial pumpkin. But as time went along, I thought, well, they would grow a little, and then they would die because they didn't have enough space. Well, they all started flourishing, and I had no choice but to start one by one to pluck them out, to make room for other plants. Eventually I was down to 2, and eventually that one I had to choose the healthier one and pluck the last one out. And they're just plants, I know, but all the care I put into them, the watering, the fertilizing, they have their own lights, grow lights. But anyway, this one was growing upright, and I had to prune it. I went through a stage where it was growing flowers like crazy, and then they would wilt, and I had to cut them. And I've also cut a few leaves that were dead or dying. And just over the weekend, it finally fell over. I was beginning to think it was going to grow straight up like a houseplant forever. It fell over finally, and it's now starting to, as you can see, look like a vine. And they suggest not doing that, not to plant pumpkins in containers because they can't thrive. But it's still alive so far, and I'm going to keep growing as long as I can. I've actually taken a lot of pollen samples because the flowers were coming up real well, but there was no female flowers, or none that survived. But now, I'm starting to see a few more female flowers, so I'm hoping that I can at least get a pumpkin to start to grow. I mean, I don't hold hope that I'm going to get a 15-pound pumpkin from a pot, but it will be interesting to see how long this pumpkin plant will last. Well, I suppose I should cut this short, or maybe not quite so short, but thank you all, one and all, for listening. Slowly but surely, the subscribers are starting to grow, and I hope to see a lot more of you. Thank you for listening. listening, and have a good night.